Hello, everybody. Okay, so let's start with our first question. Okay, so is the education system equipping young people with the skill, knowledge, and capabilities they need for the future? If not, why, and how we can fill in the gap? Alexandra, do you want to just give it a start?
Thank you very much, Nazli. So I want to say two words, soft skills. I know we've been talking about this a lot for the past 3 days, and I was thinking, preparing for this panel, about discussing various soft skills, but the thing is they're all interconnected, and if we start splitting, it doesn't make sense anymore, right? Because in my work, in my area of expertise, I see a lot of professionals, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, highly professional and experienced people, okay? They're really good at putting crisis management plans together, business continuity plans together, security tactics, registries, and all kinds of things. But when it comes to personal resilience, team resilience, how to make decisions as a crisis responder, cognitive diversity, trust, and all of this, they are a complete loss. So this is what's happening, and I'm talking about executive committees, I'm talking about the security teams, global security teams, okay? Global crisis management team and business continuity teams. So those soft skills are absolutely essential. And a really interesting piece of data I'd like to share with you today is that in average, the most competitive companies out there in the world today invest 2.6 times more in those intangibles than their competition. And in some industries, like financial industry, it goes as high as 6 times more than others. So that's what's going on on the market right now, and because the students today will be on the market tomorrow, it's absolutely essential to understand all of this, so we teach them things that are relevant for them, not for us, basically.
Thank you so much. It seems like this topic, it's not just only young adults, it's everyone in this room, so. So what do you think, Aaron, about this topic?
Hi, everyone. So I would like to speak from the Hong Kong context, because I'm from Hong Kong, and in schools, I think the education system or the method of delivering education stemmed from the 19th century. We are still adopting that, and teachers are educated during the 20th century, and it's now the 21st century, and they're still memorizing things. Students have to recite everything, and that was the way the teachers succeeded in their era, in their age. But then it's not the case now for this generation, and I think the innovation of schools and students and teachers, all three parties have to embrace innovation. And I think there was a panel yesterday talking about the industry and academia collaboration. I guess that's the way schools can try to adapt and to let people from the industry, from the market, to be involved in the education system, to be involved in teaching the next generation, to be involved in delivering what's happening in the real world. Because sometimes when things are taught in schools and when the students go to the workplace, things are not working at the same way as they were taught. So I think the collaboration between these and embracing innovation can kind of bridge the gaps between equipping them the skills, knowledge, and capabilities for the future of work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's a great perspective from Hong Kong. Mariam, what are your thoughts?
So our educational systems have remained mostly the same for the past decades, although the world of work has been rapidly changing. Like, we can see that technological advancements and artificial intelligence are reshaping the workforce, they're reshaping the job market. Most of the traditional jobs and roles are being either replaced or transformed. So there is a growing gap between the skills that are being taught in the educational institutions and the skills that are needed in the industry, especially the emerging industries. So I believe to bridge the gap, educational institutions should consider adopting an interdisciplinary approach to learning and shift from the purely knowledge-based approach to an emphasis on experiential learning and implementing the emerging technologies into their curriculum. They should also consider embedding a broader set of skills to help the young adults and the students keep up with the emerging changes in the workforce and the workplace. This includes technical skills that, for example, are digital literacy, data analysis, coding, and other STEM-related skills, in addition to soft skills, as Alexandra highlighted, soft and transferable skills into the workplace, like communication, creative and critical thinking, adaptability, cultural competence. Those are things that we also have to highlight. I believe that offering programs that provide a blend of both technical and soft skills would make sure that our students are, have a diverse skill set and that they are better prepared, or they are well-rounded professionals that are also able to adapt to their emerging changes in their professional lives and their, the future of the work.
Thank you so much. Vijay, what are your thoughts?
I would pick up from Alexandra's point on soft skills. And it's not just the interpersonal skills that I feel that more work can be done on, but also leadership skills, because employers in the future will not expect, you don't expect them to give you directions. They want people to use their creativity and come up with solutions or provide answers. They want to have diverse views. So it's not about just training people or educating, but giving them opportunities to hone those skills through immersions, which I believe is an area that is at this point in time missing. There's an opportunity there. And the other one is, cross-cultural. Right, we look at Dubai as an example. Look at the number of nationalities working here. You introduced me as somebody from Thailand. I'm Singaporean. I come from a South Indian descent. I was born in Singapore. I lived in 6 countries, and I finally found home in Thailand. But I learned cultural immersion the hard way. Very difficult. But we have this opportunity because the world is a flat place and opportunities are abuzz everywhere. How do we prepare our students to be able to, and they want it. They want to have cross-border opportunities. They want to go and learn. The curiosity is amazing. How are we facilitating that is an important question to consider. So STEM to STREAM, well, you can call it, but where's the humanizing aspect of it all?
But I agree with you. You know, it's very important for cross-cultural. I have many fun stories, you know, coming from Turkey to New York. So it's just preparing those students to be able to diverse and inclusive, preparing themselves for leadership skills. Thank you so much for your answers, and I think I'm very curious about your work in more details. You know, how is your work and expertise areas contribute to preparing young adults for the transformative future of work? Like, do you have any insight, outcome, anything that you measure at work that will help our audience? Alexandra, do you want to start with it?
So I made the decision to build a bridge with universities and business schools in France, to start with. Because when I was myself learning law, corporate security, and all of this, I was taught all the hard tools, right? Part of the toolkits that Dr. Iris Gardner mentioned before. And I was never taught the rest, right? So I was like, okay, now I'm seeing that all of the other professionals are in the same place as me, so let's go to those universities and French business school to see how it's going. And it's very interesting because they call me to basically do crisis management scenarios with those students, okay? And I give them, I put them in a situation, we call that tabletop exercise, we give them a scenario, I use real life scenarios, because otherwise, if I create a fake scenario, it's easy for people to say it's not gonna happen, pretty much like 9/11. Before it happened, no one would believe it would happen. So I take real life crisis and I say, okay, how do you react? What decision you make? What action do you take? How do you behave and everything? What's really interesting is that those kids are really good at finding action, making decisions, finding the right tactics, even when it comes to responding to HR questions, communications, finance, and business-related questions. But then when I ask them, okay, how did it feel being part of that team? What did you notice as an individual? How did it go? They stall. Because they're not being taught how to discuss this. And I'm talking about 20 years old. I'm not talking about 5 years old because it's not the point, right? I'm talking about kids who will be on the market like in 5 years from now. They just don't know how to describe how it is to work in a team, how it feels to be in a team, right? So we measure everything we do before and after. There is a progression always, okay? So they learn how it is to make decisions in these complex environment. They learn how it is to behave and all of this, but still there's a steep learning curve in that regard, basically. So and the thing I want to say, it's one thing I tell my clients is that working on this is a journey. Yes. There is no one end and one size fits all. It's always a journey. I'm just going to give a quick quiz here from the Resilience Institute. You know what age is the most resilient globally? What age? Young, mid, it's above 75 years old. So none of us here in this room, unless I'm completely wrong, is more resilient, is at the level of resilience, basically, to handle this complex world, this complex environment that we will be at in maybe 10, 20, 30 years from now, because it's a journey. So the point is to make those students understand that it's a step-by-step journey, because if we tell them, okay, it's like math and science, sorry, Miriam, that it's just a simple formula to apply, we fail them by saying this, basically.
That's so interesting that you mentioned, because last night I was having dinner with one student that, my student, she's here. We're talking about how fast they're living their life, about, studying and learning AI, relationship, understanding. They want to go so fast, and they just forget that it's just a journey, and they just really don't really see through their hearts and understand what they love and what the sense of purpose. So amazing that, you actually look at Miriam, because, she is all about math and statistics, like 2 + 2 = 4, but it's just the journey. So thank you so much. We're going to get back to you, Miriam, but Aaron, what do you think about this, about your work?
So I have a few slides prepared for introducing some work of me and my team that have been doing in Hong Kong. Can you show the slides, please? Yes. So what we do is we bring in social entrepreneurship to students and young adults in Hong Kong and in the community. And for those, some of you may not be very familiar with social entrepreneurship. It's simply entrepreneuring with a social mission at the center of it. The social impact to be created is the aim of this enterprise. So there are 6 stages of entrepreneurship innovation, but I will not go into the details, but the final goal, the ultimate goal, is to bring systemic change in society. So throughout the process, learners or students or young adults in this environment, we have to practice and exercise skills mentioned, for example, people skills, interpersonal skills, communication skills, and when they have to draft a business plan and to execute, implement something like that, they have to exercise financial skills, project management skills, something like that. So it is an interdisciplinary concept, and we wish to bring in to the school system and to the education system so that young adults can be prepared to face whatever happen in the future, or worker scenarios or positions they take up. So next slide, please. Yes. So for us, in our organization, we do it from education to entrepreneurship and to internship and all that with mentorship as well. And for education, we have the SENSE program founded by Dr. Seide, one of the speakers yesterday. It brings in social entrepreneurship education into the school systems. We collaborated with schools, we collaborate with teachers, we also have teachers training so that not only the students can embrace or to get to know this idea or concept, the teachers can also embrace it. The teachers can be updated with the current situations in society, in the market, in problems out there. And students can experience experiential learning and project-based learning so that they can try to resolve problems in real life. And we have entrepreneurship. Some of them can be granted fundings to really implement and actualize their ideas. And we have internship, the SELECT program. It allows students to intern in different social enterprises and to gain hands-on experience to really work with the entrepreneurs so that they can know more about what they would like to do in their future. And next slide, please. And we believe in this ecosystem, we call it, young adults can practice their interdisciplinary skills. They can touch the real world. They can work together to experience the cross-sector collaboration to really solve the problems out there. And we believe whatever position or pathways they take in their future, they pursue whatever into the government, into the education sector, into the IT sector, wherever they go, the interdisciplinary idea and the collaboration and the skills, the mindset they have got throughout the process will benefit them in pursuing whatever pathways they are going to. So this is basically what we have been doing in Hong Kong for the past 10 years in the youth sector, and as an example for all of you on this topic.
Thank you so much. We should have added how to manage stress because I messaged him that he only has 2 minutes to go through these slides, but thank you so much.
Challenging.
Marion, what do you think about, I would love to hear about your work.
Yeah, so most of the problems and challenges that we face in our world today and that our students will need to solve in the future are mainly, as we can all see, are complex and multifaceted, like climate change, economic downturns, even the challenges that arise from technological advancements like artificial intelligence. These issues are not disciplinary issues. These are multifaceted issues. They cannot be addressed or tackled through one discipline alone. They actually need a confluence of ideas to be solved. And unfortunately, most of the students are not trained to think in this way in most of the places. So at Zayed University, we have transformed the way we teach our students, and we have transformed our undergraduate programs to be interdisciplinary. And that is to equip our students with the knowledge, the skill set, and even the mindset for them to be able to blend ideas and perspectives from different disciplines in order to come up with innovative solutions to such complex problems. In their first year, our new students have a foundation year, no matter what their major is, in which they develop the interdisciplinary skills such as entrepreneurship, coding, communication, statistics, and critical thinking. And then those skills continue to be cultivated in their university years as they complete their undergraduate degree. Another point I would like to highlight here is something that has been discussed a lot in days 1 and 2, yesterday and the day before, is the lack of alignment between academia and the industry. It seems that everyone agrees that there is a lack of alignment between those two. Industries don't really understand or don't really know what higher education is up to, and higher education does not really understand the exact skills that the industries need. Most of the times, industries say that graduate skills are not adequately aligned to their needs. So at Zayed University, we established a program called a Partner Challenge program, in order to bridge the gap between the academia and the industry. So something similar to what Aaron was mentioning. So this program offers our students the opportunities for experiential learning and the opportunity to apply their knowledge outside of the classroom and address real-world challenges that are set and proposed by industry partners. Those include renowned organizations like Accent, Cisco, Coca-Cola, just to name a few. Mentors from those organizations set real-life challenges for our students in coordination with faculty and partner specialists that make sure that the projects are aligned with the academics that we offer. And the students collaborate and they combine the learning from different disciplines to come up with innovative solutions for those projects. Now, this program, students actually start working on such projects from their very first semester, and by the time they graduate, they would have already worked with at least 5 companies. So the benefit of this program is not only to offer them experiential learning, but also it fosters their professional and personal development because they gain tangible work experience. They get exposed to multiple different professional settings. They understand how their strengths and their interests align or map to the professional settings. It also fosters the soft skills. They develop growth mindset. They understand that long life learning is something they have to keep in mind in order to keep up with the changes in the settings that they are working with. And they also develop stress management, time management skills. They get to communicate and interact with individuals from different cultures, from different, in different roles.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This job is very tough, being a moderator, you know. I want you to talk, but I keep just looking at the time. Vijay, what are your thoughts? And then we're going to move to our last questions very quickly.
Yeah, so my focus area is basically purpose and creating sustainable high-performing teams, right?
I love that.
There's always about short-term. Results are always about short-term. And the mistakes that many organizations make is they want growth subsequent year, and they believe the starting point is the end of last year, the previous year. That's not true, right? And often when we look at the skills gaps, it's significant, particularly with a multi-generational workforce. So I start a lot of work by asking, who are you? Not what do you do, but who are you as a person?
What did they answer? I'm so curious.
Yeah, that's the interesting one, right? So they will say, I am head of this. No, that's what you do. But who are you? It's a very interesting question, a very reflective one. So there's a tool I use. Somebody in this room has gone through it, and they found exactly who they are, right? And it's interesting. That's why I said on Monday, within an hour, I helped students, I helped even leaderships, administrators find out why they click with certain people and why with some people they just can't stand them. And it's important to know, you know, that distinction, because that, you know, if you remember Dr. Sabrina yesterday, self-awareness first, then self-management. So this is a great way to help people understand who they are, their left brain, right brain. Why is it that when someone speaks, I do not like that person? There is a reason, because we are dominated by, you know, either the left or the right brain. Some of us have got the lateral, but some of us also got a diagonal brain, which allows us to be conflicted most of the time. Then there is this aspect where we look at how do we communicate with each other from there. So, and in terms of purpose, so that's one area with people. In terms of purpose, we adopt the principles of Ikigai. Now, the Ikigai that I refer to is not the Venn diagram that you see. We have some delegates from Japan, and they will tell you Ikigai is represented by a flower of 8 needs. It's called the Kamiya flower. So if you're reading the Venn diagram, you're reading the wrong diagram, right? Because in Japan, we know they don't talk about ikigai as a concept, it's a way of life. So we introduce that into purpose, and then we help organizations that how do we sustain this, right? There are terms like ibaosho, which is balancing work, life, leisure. So yeah, so I could go on, but if you're interested to find out whether you're left or right brained, is very easy.
Yeah, that's what I talk about love,
Yeah.
Or just, like getting to know yourself. I'm not going to look at the time anymore. So, for Generation Z and Alpha, what are the top 3 soft and hard skills they need to be aware of? Top 3 in your mind, and why?
In my experience, if I have to pick, I like to pick 2, actually.
Oh, that's even better.
I like to be concise. That's what executive needs, by the way. So time management, a huge skill to learn as well.
I know you're sitting right in front of me. Like, I know the time and I see you.
Huge
I'm
skill.
even more stressed.
No jokes, by the way. So two skills. It's really about psychological safety.
Oh, I love
as
that.
a leader, to be able to make people feel safe, to fail, to learn, to ask questions. I was talking about this with a client the other day, and he was like, are we safe to fail? The question was left unanswered, which was really interesting. A second concept is growth mindset. It is overrated, unfortunately, but it is super, super important. And it's about, again, learning how to love to fail.
Yeah.
Last week, I had a huge fail with a prospect on Monday. I learned all the lessons I could from that failure. On Friday, I had another meeting with another prospect, and I leveraged that failure from 5 days prior, and I succeeded and I signed a new deal. So it's about loving to learn how to fail, because it's a journey.
Yeah.
So these are 2 things, I think.
That's amazing that you mentioned about psychological safety. That's why I mentioned on the panel that we should assess CEOs and executives first to understand how critical thinker they are, or empathy, or growth mindset. Because if they're not, how are you gonna implement psychological safety? So, okay, Education 2.0. We're gonna continue another 30 minutes because I love the topic. Just kidding. So, what do you think, Aaron, about this topic? Or it doesn't matter right now. You guys can all talk.
Yeah, I'll talk first. I think that one of it is the ability to empathize. Empathy. Yes, because in this era of technology, I think that what Vijay said is the human side, like of what our use would be, and this is the first one. The second one is critical thinking and problem solving. It has been told like yesterday about this topic, critical thinking, how to distinguish what's true from what is fake, what's wrong, and I think that's one of the key in this new education generation, where like automation and machines will take place in a lot of scenarios. Critical thinking would be one of the very important skills they have to be equipped with. And the third one is innovativeness. To build new things, yes.
Thank you so much. Marian, what do you think?
Yeah, so the future of work will heavily actually rely on digital skills and technology. So I do believe that it's very essential to equip the students with a strong foundation in digital literacy. This generation, especially Generation Z, grew up surrounded by technology, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to use this technology meaningfully and positively. So they do need to understand digital security, digital privacy, even the use of artificial intelligence and the ethics of using artificial intelligence in their studies and in the workplace. Another skill I would choose is, as Aaron said, critical thinking. This is very important because it's important for them to be able to ask the right questions and be able to assess different perspectives and assess different information from different resources in order to be able to make informed decisions. A third skill I would choose is to be able to deal with complexity and ambiguity. Artificial intelligence is, we don't really know what the skills will definitely be in the future, the skills needed in the workplace. So they do need to be able to have a flexible mind, to be able to adapt to changes, and also, as Alexandra highlighted, a growth mindset comes along with this. They have to know what you're learning now, you should build on the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Vijay.
I'll just add, everyone's covered this, but the future of work is not going to be totally driven by grades, it's going to be driven by skills, right? So I think there's so many other skills that all the speakers have alluded to. So everything is the fact that, you know, we have to humanize it, you know, whether it's technology, whether it's math, what's ethics around it, we coexist with in a network, you know, that's so difficult to define and constantly evolving. So skills are so important. So yeah, soft skills particularly, and leadership skills. So I would just say that's something that we've got to prepare our young kids for, right? So I'll leave you guys with one thought. I asked this question to my 11-year-old once: is school preparing you for life? And this 11-year-old said, no, school's just interested in our grades. And that's a sad truth. Allow me to be brutal as a father. It's sad to hear that.
I got the same answer.
Yeah, it's got the same answer. Here we have it. So you've got answers from kids who may not tell you that in your classroom setting because they say, it's a teacher, you're an educator. But as a friend, they tell us a lot of things. So
Thank you.
feedback again for you guys. It's neutral. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Time's up. Do you guys have any questions?
Come on up to the mic. Come on up. We haven't heard from you. Well done, guys. Give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Great, insightful session. A lot of new faces. Welcome. We'd love to know who you are.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much to all the panelists. My name is Wafa Zolber from Zayed University. Now, it has been the norm that throughout teaching in higher education, we always heard that there is a big gap between the graduates and the university market and the community market. And it was actually the norm that the graduate goes through a different, totally new cycle once the graduate leaves the university and starts to join the market. And there has been long debate and argument between the universities, higher education, and the industry, trying to explain to the industry, it is not our job only to give you a ready-made graduate. So you have good duties as well, because the market itself updates itself. So how often can higher education be updated is another thing. Now, in the past, we used to have chemistry major, English language major, math major, but later we have heard about major and minor. Why? Because we had still to develop some type of multidisciplinarity within the fields of discipline, within science, within humanities, and all of that. And all of this got into the same direction until now. We are talking about borderless majors, where we are preparing students not only to obtain academic skills like the past, but now we are teaching them how to manage even life skills, which they definitely use in their major, whatever the major is, and whatever the industry is. And maybe a key word can be borderless majors, and another one is interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity. Thank you so much.
Could I just add a point to what she said?
Was that a question?
No, it was a
No, it was a
comment.
comment, right?
Yeah, it was,
Or do you...
yeah. It's a viewer.
Well, you have evoked in me lots of feelings because it's not a question, it was a comment.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yes, it is a comment. So
Okay.
it wasn't a question, especially that all of this has been a debate. We have been to so many meetings and conferences,
Yeah.
and there has been committees in the universities that were formed for the purpose of how we can bridge this gap between
Yeah.
the community and the university. So that was very tiring for faculty in the university, to be honest, until we arrived at the stage where we believe in interdisciplinarity,
Yeah.
right? Now, if a graduation person is majored in math, this person is not expected to function only in that field when he graduates. No way. And if he expects that, he cannot function in the community. So this person is actually has to be, let's say, graduate with so many skills, not just academic skill, not just professional skill, but life skills.
Yeah.
Now, how often, like now, we have got so many people suffering from time management issues, stress management issues, right?
Yeah.
So many issues that cannot keep functioning. So the problem is not in the field of science. It is totally different skills. This is where we are talking now about interdisciplinarity or maybe multidisciplinarity, of course, with the distinction between the two.
It's
Just a
100%.
comment, thank you.
Sometimes I honestly think that we make them more confused than they are, you know.
Could I just add? Yes, I agree. If you remember the first day, I said education institutions are under significant pressure because of the demands of the private sector or even just government sectors. Because I grew up just starting with 4 subjects, and now you've got AI, you've got this. You've moved from STEM to STEAM to STREAM, and God knows what else will come after this, right? So, and I say it's a tripartite agreement. But I think the important thing to educate young people is career is never going to be linear. Be prepared to step sideways, diagonally, and that's what I tell the young people, look, just because you're a chemistry major doesn't mean you have to go that direction. There's always opportunities. If it doesn't work out, step to the side and try something else. And that's where I think, this tripartite arrangement between parents, schools, employers is so critical. So, without one, it's not going to work. But it's easier said than done, right? So we're all wired differently, we all have different values. But I think as long as we are aware of it,
Yeah,
it's already a catalyst for change.
Thank you so much. If you guys have more questions, we will see you in the networking
Come on
area.
up, come on up.
Oh,
I'm giving you
you have a
one more.
question.
I'm
Sorry,
giving
there's
you
so
one
much
more.
light coming to my eyes. I can't see anyone.
Actually, I have to agree with her, and I'll be asking specific question on language development in terms of communication skills. I've been teaching from Philippines, Vietnam, a little bit of Korea and Japan, and now I'm in Bahrain, and I see this gap between university and industry. Like, there is a lack of expression, communication. They have a lot of brilliant ideas, but in terms of communicating what they are doing, there's something wrong. So it's a challenge for us, faculty members. How are you gonna make this young leaders, young entrepreneurs, young engineers to come up with their own self and speak to the world what they are capable of doing? So maybe if in this case, classroom learning or university learning, partnership with industries may not be enough. From different industries that you are coming from, maybe you can advise, or what could be the strategy or some organizations that could help? I'm glad to meet one TED speaker here. Sir Danny, if you're here around. Yeah, there is one. One also is a Toastmaster speaker, which also they train people to become public speakers or communicators. So maybe you have other ideas how we could help these young learners to become communicator as they are.
It's a journey.
Alexander?
I'm not sure I understood the question. I'm sorry. Can you? You'd like to know how organizations can explain more what they need? That's the
How are we
question.
going to prepare young adults to be more transformative in the sense that they can be more communicative, more self-expressive in terms of their communication skills?
Okay.
If classroom learning or industry collaborations may not be enough to prepare them fully for the future of work, what other organizations or trainings that they could have?
So if I
Yeah,
may,
go ahead,
take
please.
this one. Thank you very much. I think it's about cases, making them working on cases. Top-down speeches, top-down classes just are gone, seriously gone. People are craving for interconnections and discussions and thinking through real-life cases. When I do those crisis scenarios, at the end of each scenario, I say, okay, every team will have to report what the team did, okay? So you assign one speaker for each team.
Yeah.
I do everything, all of my work is done virtually, okay? Which is one of the good things from COVID. So all of my work is done virtually. It's a great place to learn public speaking, to learn how to be comfortable to speak in public, because you have the screen between you and the rest of the world. So when I tell those kids, okay, you assign one speaker, and each team will go on stage. When I tell you to go on stage, I'll put you on full screen. You're ready to go. It's about engaging them, motivating them, making it easy for them. But they have to train, to practice. Some of them stumble. Some of those kids don't even barely speak English. And everything I do is in English. Just go for it and try. Try and stumble. If it's okay if it's not perfect English. The thing is, we have to let them try. And we don't.
And
So when they join the workforce, they're basically afraid of failing.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, also failure, right? I think they have, like have this, taught us, like if I speak, if I communicate, nobody understand, I will feel like I'm going to fail. So that fear also just makes them more kind of reserved. So thank you so much. Now I see Rachel smiling.
Yeah.
This job is very tough.
You've done an excellent job.